Yeah, I had made a post earlier
Mm-hmm.
about it's the first time I did it though. It was 12 different questions about what happens when you pass away. And you know how I normally do it, I just ask like one or two or three questions, but this time I asked 12. I did a deep dive with AI.
Mm-hmm.
It snapped though.
What did
It went crazy.
what stood out to you the most?
Mm, what stood out the most? Well, two things. One, it was talking about the Monroe Institute, and the Monroe Institute is a place in West Virginia where they map out the different dimensions. So, I was asking about like heaven, hell, etc. Everybody want to know about that.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially it was just talking about what the Monroe Institute talks about as focus places. So same way we got longitude and latitude here, and you can map out Charlotte, North Carolina, or Austin, Texas. The spiritual plane is no different.
Mm-hmm.
There are specific places in the spiritual plane, and there are specific ways of getting there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just breaking that down.
Mm-hmm.
And what was something else that stood out? Um, Also the burial piece. I
Mm-hmm.
already was hip, but it was just getting into, how if the body itself doesn't fully dissolve,
Mm-hmm.
and as an example, if it's like in a wooden casket, there
Mm-hmm.
can be confusion for the soul, and it can be like an anchor to the soul to
Mm-hmm.
where it doesn't move onward. So
Mm-hmm.
it's stuck.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wouldn't be the case if you got cremated, right?
Now exactly. Cremation gonna free it.
Okay.
Send you onward.
That's what I was thinking. Like me and my sister, we want to be cremated and like buried underneath the tree or something like that.
Yes, dope. Now that way you can grow with the tree. Like some of your
Yes.
DNA and essence is gonna go into the tree.
Mm-hmm. My mom hates to hear that. She absolutely hates to hear that. And I also like to say at my funeral, I don't want it to be at the church. I'm sorry. I don't.
I feel
I
you.
will haunt y'all. I don't want it to be at the church. I don't want everybody wearing black. I want y'all wearing colors. I want y'all celebrating my life because I didn't die. I lived.
That's
I
strong.
know that may sound a little corny, but I mean, it's
Nah,
facts. You
it's
know,
facts. But what you want is a celebration.
a celebration. Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want a whole lot of sad crying and all that negativity
Hmm.
when you going back home. It's a return to the
Exactly.
crib. What y'all sad about?
Exactly. And I
Y'all want,
mean, I can definitely understand the grief. Like, you know what I'm saying? People are going to miss me physically. You know what I'm saying? Like the human part of us, I do feel like that's difficult for us to process, even if we do have the awareness that the person is going home.
yeah.
That's just the human part of us. So I understand that. But it's like at the same time, like I feel like I have a very healthy relationship with death, you know.
Mm,
At least I do now. I never had like anybody close to me die yet.
yeah.
So it's easy for me to say what I'm saying right now.
So what do you feel about death at this time overall? What would be your
Overall,
your overall take on death since you say you have, a good relationship with it?
I just think it's a transition from one plane to the next. Simply that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
death is life and life is death.
Yeah.
The sacred cycle, you know?
Exactly.
It's beautiful. My perspective is that like my theory is basically that this is a dream. This is a very long, drawn out dream.
Mhm.
And when we die, we'll wake up from it.
That's
Like,
a
damn,
fact.
that was crazy.
Yeah, no, it's facts. It's facts. That
Don't put me back there again.
yeah. I feel you. Now a lot of people be like that and I want to come back. But no, it's a fact though. Like we're here. It's same way like when we go to sleep at night. When we dream in there, like the dream seems very real. And it's we live in life. Then we wake up and be like, dang, that was a crazy dream. But
Hmm.
when you listen to people from having near-death experiences, it's the same thing. They remember, and then they realize that the life is something that they picked. And as they say, merrily, 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 life is but a dream, and it really is.
That's a good point. And that's
Yeah.
the way that I like to see it. And I mean that perspective it helps me have a healthy attachment with this world.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To not be
Hmm.
too attached to people, places, things. I feel like it's
Exactly.
healthy. And I feel like that's why like I feel like for the most part I'm cool, calm and collected because of that. Like there could be crazy, chaotic things that happen and the way that I respond to it, I feel like it's so much more peaceful than the way somebody with a really heavy attachment to all of this stuff would respond to the situation, you
Absolutely.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, that attachment makes all the difference in the world. Look, so another post I made earlier, because just it's just all coming.
Mhm.
So it was this near death experience of this woman who her husband cheated on her and had a baby.
Mhm.
And she's having this near death experience and she's seeing how basically her and the council, her spirit guides were sitting back watching this take place. But this was prior to her incarnating. So
Mhm.
prior to her incarnating, essentially, she chose that she was going to have her husband cheat on her and get pregnant. So she chose
Mhm.
that prior to the incarnation, and she's realizing this. And then the council says, who is going to do this for her? And then the soul stepped up, and it didn't look like her husband now, but it was her husband's soul. And he
Mhm.
was like, I'll do it for her.
Mhm.
So he loved her so much that in this life, he did that for her. And that's such a different way of thinking because from here, that don't look like love. It don't look like love at all. How could that be love? It would looks like betrayal. But because of her going through that, it now showed her how to open up her heart space more. And she realized that in her past three incarnations, they were all trying to teach her the same thing, how to love unconditionally.
Mhm.
And she was missing the boat. And it would hit you with betrayal over and over until you can open your mind and see it as God sees it.
Somebody got to play the villain, and and as much as I don't like to say it, because the human part of us resents the people that hurt us,
Absolutely.
but like my spirit and my soul knows that this person loves me so much that they said, I'll be this, I'll be the villain, I'll hurt you
Yeah.
just for you to grow, just for you to evolve, just for you to get what you need out of this experience. And like, even though I have some people in my life that, you know, I may hold resentment against, or I may have held resentment against, because, I'm healing. My heart is really opening and I'm healing. We had a
Mm-hmm.
conversation before where I told you, I forgave somebody that really hurt me. But at the end of the day, it's like I can't do nothing but love them for real.
It's powerful.
Because it's like I understand, like, we had this agreement and you stepped up to play this
Mm.
role. And a lot of times, I mean, shit, if you really think about it, the people that hurt us the most, they really teach us the most powerful lessons. And I know if you're an alchemist, sometimes for us it takes catalyst and chaos happening in our lives for us to transmute that, and it just propels us into a deeper version, into a deeper it propels us into a higher version of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
it triggers the death before the rebirth. Like they say, pressure makes diamonds,
Indeed.
and sometimes we need that pressure even if it hurts.
Yes, Lord. That's a fact.
Hmm.
It's needed. Like everything I've gone through in the past 2 years, like in the moment it sucks. It's
Yeah.
trash. I don't want to go through it. It feels uncomfortable. It's
Hmm.
unfamiliar. I'm not knowing what's coming around the corner. And we don't like to be surprised.
Yeah.
But the thing is, on the other side of it, I needed every inch of it, every piece of it. I needed to feel all the pain. I needed to feel the ups and downs. I need to feel the uncertainty. I
Hmm.
need to lose faith for a moment so I could understand that I never need to lose faith at all, that things are always working out for me exactly as they should.
Hmm.
But we got to go through it to get there though, you
Yeah.
know? And also going back to like not not judging people, not holding things against them, you know what I'm saying? Understanding like, and this is something I always say, this, I feel like this, like everybody's doing the best they can from where they at.
Hmm.
Like, and nobody, and I'm sure even people that are on this live right now, they're not going to agree with that. Like, what? How are people doing the best they can from where they at? Like,
Hmm.
people could do this, that, and the third. But when you really think about it, a person is only doing what they think is going to work for their current level of awareness and where their nervous system is at currently.
Hmm.
So everybody's actions is a reflection of their current nervous system. So even if they know in their mind, like, yeah, I need to get in here. I got bills I need to pay.
Hmm.
And if I work 80 hours this week, I'll be able to pay all those bills. But that person's nervous system might be like, huh, you ain't finna work 80 hours nowhere. It ain't
Hmm.
happening. It can't happen. So
Hmm.
although there's an insight, in terms of the energy that lives within them, they're doing the best that they can.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? And we often don't afford that to other people, although we do realize that internally, intuitively about ourselves, but in our conscious mind, we beat ourselves up all the time for not being able to reach what we see as the ideal self and show up as the self that we actually are at this time.
Mhm. I feel like, man, it really be the ego.
Yeah,
A lot of the times, the ego prevents us from having the compassion.
yeah.
Um, and then also just with I feel like our sight being closed off. You know what I'm saying? Like our sight being limited to what we can see and experience physically, but we don't shift our awareness to what's going on besides the physical. Because so somebody could be, from our perception, doing something bad or not doing their best, but you don't see what's on the other side of that because
Mm-hmm.
all you see is the physical stuff. So you see what they're doing physically, but you don't know the mental process.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know the spiritual process. You don't know their soul contracts.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know none of that, and it's like. I heard something that basically said a lot of humans are lazy thinkers because we don't take time to think deeper about things. And I like to say everything is that deep.
Everything is that deep.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm still in that.
A lot of people,
I'm running
a
off.
lot of people,
Everything is
oh, it's
that deep.
not that deep. Yes, yes, it is.
Yes, it
It
is.
absolutely is that deep. Everything. Now you can close your perception off to where in your reality it's not that deep, but there's a reality where it is that deep.
For
You
sure.
know what I'm saying? And it is relevant. It's very much so relevant.
Absolutely. It's valid in all the things.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Someone said, so how can we differentiate if someone is doing something to help us versus they are hurting
I'm
us?
gonna let you tackle that. You got the juice.
How can we differentiate if someone is doing something to help us versus when they are hurting us?
Mm.
That's an interesting question because, like, even when somebody is hurting us,
They
they can
helping us.
be helping us.
That's
It's just
look,
a
you saw
matter
it
of
the
how
same way. Yeah.
it's just a matter of how you want to perceive that.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever you choose to be your truth, that's your truth. So if somebody does something to you, okay, if somebody cheats on you, let's say in a relationship, and you like, you hurt me, you hurt me. If that's what you believe, then that's what it is. But if you believe that this person is helping you through this, then you're gonna start to see how they are helping you. They could be helping you to resurface healing that you need to do. Triggers, they could be triggering things in you that you didn't even know you had inside of you. Now
Exactly.
you got to go heal because dang, I didn't even know that I still had abandonment issues. This person triggered
Yep.
that. I'm
Yep.
so hurt by this. My inner child is curled up in a ball. You may have not even known that until you had the experience with that person to
Exactly.
bring that to surface. So it's really just a matter of perspective. And honestly, my the way that I like to think of it, choose what best suits you, your growth, your evolution, your happiness, and your peace.
Mm.
Choose the best perspective because all of them are valid. So you just make a decision like what will I choose? How will I choose to see
Yeah.
this? Yeah.
Yeah. Who asked that question? What was their name? Where they at?
It's a little up
Oh,
here now.
Hooker. Is a Hooker's Corner.
Hooker's
All right,
corner.
Hooker's Corner. Look, she gave you the
Yeah.
sauce. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I totally agree. I don't think that anything is ever hurting us. I think that the creation is perfect. I think that whatever we experience that we think is negative, it is like what she said. It's only because that's how you're processing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, nobody ever truly dies, and it's never truly the end. So everything is just truly a lesson. It's just something that you go through. I mean, I'm sure that you went through a process of pain in your adolescent years that you wish that you never went through. What's up, young one? You went through a whole process of pain that you
Yeah.
wish that you never went through.
Go sit down.
Yeah,
Go sit
but at the end of the day, now many years later, you feel like, okay, I'm glad that that happened. I'm glad
down.
that I went through all of those things. And now you can see that God never abandoned you and that everything that's happening to you is always happening for you. But in the moment, we just don't have that realization, nor do we think that that's the reality. So yeah, nobody's ever truly hurting us. And going back to also what you said, in that moment, if your nervous system isn't able to keep up with what it is that you're experiencing, then you have to honor that and give yourself a break. You know what I'm saying? It's no
Mm,
different than if you're a very dedicated, let's say you just dedicated to playing basketball. You want to be LeBron James. So you just in the gym, you shooting, you dribbling, you weight training. But guess what? You can't do that 24 hours out the day. Your body, although you love it to death, is going to be like, I need a break. I
mm,
need to just lay here
mm,
for a second. So as much as you love basketball, you can't be attached to basketball 24 hours out the day. And this analogy is not about basketball. You dig what I'm saying? So this is all day just about the fact that you can't really be in a space of growth and expansion if we're just holding on to something, attaching ourselves to something and not giving ourselves that breathing room to recalibrate. You know what I mean?
mm. Giving the body time to align with the mind and the spirit.
In fact, Jesus. Totally agree. I used to dye yarn. I'm not a hooker. It's my last name. No doubt. I didn't think you were a hooker. But it is though the name Hooker's Corner is interesting. Um, I wonder if anybody else asked anything.
Growth
But if
can take a couple years for the molding process.
yes,
That's an interesting
that's a fact.
way to put it.
Yeah, everything is a test. They demonic energies of the purgative darkness test the flesh. Anagus watching and protect all choices. Oh yeah, that demon thing is also interesting too because, like it says, the demonic energies of darkness test the flesh. And I don't think that we could have a world with expansion and growth without demons. Like if we really sat back for a second and thought about a world that is just peace, it's just harmony, there's no strife whatsoever. We just gonna be sitting back laying in the sun all day, eating fruit, the peace that we wish for. But if life was just that way for a long, extended amount of time, I think that the growth would be very minimal, you know. So the negatives, quote unquote, the catalyst, the people in our lives that trigger us, really, that's what we should call it. That's what really initiates majority of the growth. That's what pushes us forward. A blessing.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you good. I can absolutely hear you. Yeah, man. But aside from that, today I think I'm gonna do a law of one reading. I haven't done it in a while. I'm on like session 10. You know how I was doing the readings and
Yeah.
putting it on there. So I have to edit it really. I actually got a couple that I've done still, but
Mhm.
man, that editing process, you know how that go. It just be taxing. I've been
Yeah.
editing some other shit the other day. Now just having to do that. But I feel like a lot of people were tuning into that and I gotta
Mhm.
get back to it. But I mean that whole process is about like 3 hours.
You
So
said what?
about 3 hours.
3 hours?
Yeah,
I mean, you put in the work and though it's gonna pay off.
you're right about that. I appreciate the
We
reminder.
appreciate you. We
Yeah,
appreciate the work,
thank you.
the videos.
Thank you. Sincerely, I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah,
We need it. The world
yeah,
needs it.
yeah. It's kind of like that post you had sent earlier that you said you saw that I had liked,
Mhm.
where dude was like, "Yo, you know, if you, especially if you spiritual, social media gonna help free you."
Mhm.
And it's crazy. Like when you really think about like even what we sitting here doing right now, like building in front of the people, but at the same time allowing people to connect with who we are in a genuine way so that they can follow us along on our journeys. And at the
Yeah.
same time we be able to connect with others that we had no idea about and that
Yeah.
can also help us along in our own journeys. And I think that by being vulnerable and showing ourselves as we are puts us in a position where the universe can continue to align us with the things that are for us,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, and that thing earlier really spoke to me because when I did see it, I was probably about a month in on what it is that you know what I've been doing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So now here it is 3 months later, and I mean it's a fact. You know, things are
Yep.
coming together.
Yep.
Yeah,
It has no.
yeah.
It has no choice but to. As long as you're consistent, that's literally all it takes.
Fact.
It's
That's
just
all it
wait.
takes.
It's waiting, just waiting. Literally, that's it. The time, because as we talked about before, being here on Earth and all of this density, you know what I'm saying, in the 3D. it takes a little longer for things to materialize as they would, maybe in other places, universes, or whatever the case may
Mm.
be. In the spiritual realm, because when you're dreaming, if you're lucid dreaming, anything that you want.
Instantaneously
Yeah. So
happens right
here
then.
it's still a dream, but it's a lot slower. So it's just, okay, let me just continue. Let me show up
Yeah,
regardless of what the physical reality is presenting, because I understand the spiritual and energetic blueprint and how things work. Let me just show up on a consistent basis, even if the physical results have not manifested themselves yet. Because I
exactly.
know it has no choice. I know, because I'm in this vibration, that my physical reality has no choice but to catch up to me.
A fact. It's faith based.
Yes. And it's just a matter of like sustaining that, because one thing that I'm working on is just sustaining my energy, because there are days that I will have where like I don't feel like I'm sustaining this future that I'm calling near. You know what I'm saying? This life that I'm calling near, because little things will happen. You're like, "Oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that?" You may just not have the best day, and that could kind of take you on a downward spiral. You know what I'm saying?
Discourage
You kind
you.
of, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hopping off your energetic high horse per se.
Yeah, yeah,
And then you get back on that horse and you like, okay, I'm still embodying this. Like everything that I want is already done. Let me just continue showing up as this person. It's like you really just got to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? Even with, making the content. You may not feel like posting the content, post the content.
post the content,
Do it.
put it out there.
Yes.
So let me ask you this: if
Mhm.
somebody is like, "Dang, I want to live this life. I want to tap in, but I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what to create." In your opinion,
Mhm.
what would you say? How would you say like they can find that?
Live.
What would be the process?
Live.
Yeah.
Honestly, just live. I don't think that you find your purpose. I think that your purpose finds
Sheesh.
you. I know that mine did. Mine sure
Sheesh.
enough did. If you keep living life, I promise you it'll hit you like a
Mm,
bus. You know, it'll hit you like a bus. And I also, in the same sentence, I don't, everybody's purpose is not going to be something super big. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people are just here to live,
mm.
travel, breathe, have a family, and those purposes are amazing too.
Absolutely.
So it may not be something super big as far as your purpose. It may be something simple, and that's
Yeah,
okay too. But yes, that's my advice: just live, and it's gonna come to you,
for
and you're gonna
sure.
know it. You're gonna feel it in your heart.
Mm,
You're just gonna know. Yeah,
definitely. It's gonna hit different. It's gonna
absolutely.
hit different. Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, man, you got to go back to childhood where, you can get back into that space where you feel just the freedom, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Whether it was riding bikes, playing tag, any of the things, and then starting to function from that space. Because once you're in that space and you feeling the vibration of excitement again, the thoughts are also going to come through excited too. You're going to start channeling the thoughts of your excited self.
Mhm.
And now that you're channeling those thoughts, is going to align you instantly with that purpose. Is going to manifest itself very easily.
Yes.
But the most of us, we don't live in a state of excitement. We live in survival.
Mm.
That's all it is. We just thinking about how can I make more money? How can I survive?
Yes.
And don't even we really don't dream. Like when we was kids, we was dreaming. We was like, yo, I want to be a part of the Power Rangers. I want to be a part of this, then the third. And then nobody could tell you that you couldn't do it. And you really
I
felt
want
like you could do it. And
to
as
be
a
an
result,
airplane.
you want to be, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And you just dream like big, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But now like we dream so small.
You
Like
gotta go
we
get a job. That's not gonna work for you.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. But like as you said before, it's people on TikTok that's eating cornstarch.
Eating cornstarch, getting
Yeah,
paid, living
getting
their
paid.
wildest dreams, eating cornstarch, ice,
Yeah,
everything that you can imagine. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? There's people just being them, showing up authentically. They're not even just doing nothing. They just
exactly.
literally being them, but they're literally just recording it.
That's
Getting
it.
paid. And yes, you can get paid to be you. And like you said, we definitely still got to keep dreaming, because I'm telling you, people that forgot how to dream, they want you to do the same. They don't want you to dream, and that may not be their intentions, directly, I'm sure they may want you to succeed and do great, but everybody does not have the same idea of success.
For
You know what I'm
sure.
saying? And it's like you really have to tune them out. Like anybody that's telling you that you can't do XYZ, that your dream is too big, you gotta turn that's noise. I
Facts.
consider that noise. I turn it down and
For
I
sure.
hyper focus on everything that's in alignment with what I want to manifest. Like I always think about my birthing experience. That's literally the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life. And I'm so happy that I did
Mm.
it because birthing is literally manifestation. They're one and the same. You know what I'm saying? Like birthing is a more, physical example of it. But, when I said, hey, I want to do a natural birth at my home in my tub, oh, you can't do that. That's not safe. Everybody's telling me their horror stories. You know what I did? I had faith. I turned the noise down. I was like, I don't want to hear none of that.
Yeah.
Thank you
Facts.
for your concern. I'm not trying to hear none of that. I did what I needed to do. I didn't just sit around thinking that, oh, I'm gonna just naturally have it. No, I was doing my prenatal yoga. You know what I'm saying? I was eating what I was supposed to eat. I was drinking my teas. I was getting ready. I was falling asleep with my affirmations. I was praying to God. I said, God, this is what I want you to do. And I need you to help me pull this through, and it happened. It was not easy at all, but I did it. And I know it was divine, and this is how important having a connection with God is, because literally when I was giving birth in my house and my mom was concerned, they somehow convinced me. They was like, okay, let's go to the hospital, let's check up on you. Man, the medical team, they came to my house. They could have transported me, but they was like, everything's going fine here. Matter
Mm.
of a fact, here's a OB kit. They gave us an OB kit. They're not supposed
Mm.
to do that. They said, here's an
Mm.
OB kit. If you need us, just let us know. We're here for you. And I said, if this is not
That is
God,
God.
that was divine intervention.
Mm.
That was divine intervention. And that's how important it is to lean your back, like on God, on the universe. Like whatever it is that you dream that you want to do, go for it, trust, and I promise you, like it's the forces or the universe are going to be there for you. God is going to be there for you. And God shows up through everybody because God is in
For
everybody, you
sure.
know?
For sure. No,
Yeah.
you spitting. And even like we talk about people projecting their negative thoughts, like the truth of that is your success will make them have to question their own reality.
Woo!
It's gonna make
You
them have to
talking.
question. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna make them have to question, like, well, dang, if they were able to be successful, what does that mean about my failures?
Ooh.
And so they need you to be unsuccessful so they can be like, yeah, see, I told you dreaming doesn't work. Only practicality works. Only being pragmatic works. Only being realistic works.
Mm,
So,
mm.
and I think that's why even celebrities, actors, all of these things get such a hard time, and people enjoy talking bad about them or enjoy, gossiping about them because they see them as something external that is difficult for them to reach and don't believe that they could do a lot of the same things.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes, I'm saying ooh. Because I never, well, I'm not gonna say that I never understood why celebrities and influencers with a lot of following get a lot of hate. I just thought it was a mental illness. I'm like, what is wrong? These are still people at the end of the day. Why are y'all creating whole stories and narratives and talking bad and calling these people out of their names and you don't even know them? And what you just said about like them feeling like this person is kind of like way out of their reach. They can't obtain the things that this person has. This person is kind of like a character, a symbol, somebody that's not real.
Hmm.
And dang, I never even thought about it like that, that they don't think that they can live that life where they can obtain what this person can obtain,
Yeah.
you know?
So it's trying to bring them back down to their level, the level of not being good enough, the level of
Mm-hmm.
making mistakes, the level
Checking.
of it's all projection. That's all it
Mm-hmm.
be. And we do it the more like you see it, they'll build a celebrity up, especially when you see yourself in the celebrity, because at that moment there's the people that are like, yeah, if you can do it, then I can do it. Then when it gets a little further out where it's like, dang, they done went all the way there.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's where the envy start to kick in, you
Yeah.
know. And then it just now come back down here with us. The crabs in the bucket come back down here with us. And it's that
Mm-hmm.
cycle. We watch it happen to many, many, many artists, many, many actors. It's a continuous cycle, when popularity comes, especially because of, let's say, hypothetically speaking, let's say you have a boyfriend and your boyfriend is like, dang, Megan Good doing her thing. Now, in this hypothetical scenario, you might be like, man, she ain't even all that for real. Now, in that moment, now there's a wound inside of you that just don't like Megan Good. You don't know her. You don't really know much about her. But because your boyfriend is championing her and he's not necessarily championing you. It's like, okay, well, anytime Megan Good takes a L now, you're like, yeah, that's what she get. So now my boyfriend can see that she's not that much better than me. And it's a wicked thing, but that's how we think. And it's a
Yeah.
wound that we embody collectively. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? I mean, I want to be the first to say that me myself have had those experiences and those types of feelings and thoughts at different moments in my life,
Mm-hmm.
projecting outwardly, feeling jealous, feeling envious, all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these aren't energies that I own, but these are energies that I've absolutely experienced. And through
Mm-hmm.
experiencing them, now I understand how other people can feel that way. But it's ours collectively, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I feel like coming on here and having conversations like this and at least bring it to the forefront of people's minds, because many people don't even realize that's necessarily what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're just moving through it. So,
I
but
love
it's important.
I love how you just kind of emphasize that when you have certain thoughts or when you have had certain thoughts, you kind of just experience them. And I feel like that's important because, like, I know myself, sometimes I have negative thoughts that I don't resonate with at all. But I observe them. I don't identify with them and say, this is how I feel. No, it's just me observing a thought form, something that I probably just absorb from the collective from the collective because we're all connected together. And then
Absolutely.
also when you're on social media, you're scrolling, you're absorbing so many people's thoughts that could, end up landing in your pool of thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So like it helps me so much to not attach and just to kind of like witness, observe it and just kind of let it pass by. And one thing that I can genuinely say for the most part, I don't think that I ever was really jealous of
Mm.
anybody.
That's beautiful. That's
Like
beautiful.
honestly, truly, like when I see somebody doing something or you know what I'm saying, they made their dreams come true, they had a big accomplishment. The mother in me is like, look at my
That's
baby.
beautiful.
I could not
Beautiful.
know you. Like, I get so excited and so happy for them. And I also think it's because I know that I'm capable what they are capable of too. Like, what they're obtaining is not out of reach for me
Hmm.
either. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look
Hmm.
at them like, wow, if they did it, I can do it too. I see them as inspiration.
For
Like,
sure.
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I be
Yeah.
scrolling on Instagram. I be seeing all the bad biddies, you know what I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
in the gym, looking good, like
Yeah.
just manifested all of their dreams. And like that gives me so much more information. I double tap it, I comment, like
Yeah.
just spreading that love. And I absolutely love that about me because I grew up seeing women just go at each other, like jealous, like, oh, well, she's just copying me, or
Mm.
that's not really hers. She's like,
Yeah.
that's what I grew up around. And I think because I grew up around it and I didn't like it, I said, I don't want to be like that. I'm not
For
trying to do
sure.
that. I don't want to teach that to my daughter. Like, I don't know. I just be feeling like I just got too much love in my heart for that, for real.
Yeah.
Way
No,
too
that's a blessing.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same. I've
Mm-hmm.
definitely had jealousy in my life early, and not of just people externally, like a celebrity or somebody I don't know, but people that are close to me. Like, sure, I used to be jealous of my best friend. He was getting girls before I was. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And
Yeah.
there was a girl I like, and she liked him, and then I had some jealousy, and like, dang, why she don't like me the same way? So
Mm-hmm.
there was a small seed of resent that was being formed, and he didn't do anything outside of just existing as himself. But
Mm-hmm.
because I saw my own self as inadequate, it was
Yeah.
creating that energy inside of myself. So
Mm-hmm.
it really just speaks to when we are not in a space of love, then we're gonna see things from the perspective of I'm going without, and God has abandoned me, and the universe has abandoned me. So therefore, I'm upset, and I got to take it out on et cetera, et cetera. Versus like what you're talking about. is when you're in this full space of I love myself.
Mhm.
And because I love myself, I know that I can have anything. And
Mhm.
anything that I get is for me. So when I'm seeing these things out in the world, I know that, oh, that's awesome. If they can do it, I can do it. But
Mhm.
for some of us, it takes evolution, and
Mhm.
for others, it's just we've evolved before, and now we're able to carry that into this
Mm.
life.
Yes, we evolved before, now we're able to carry that into this life. Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
You know. Yeah, man. Somebody else said one more thing. We all have negative thoughts. We have to combat it with positivity. And I think two ways about that. Um, I don't think combat is ever necessary. I think war is just war. So if you're fighting, you're just fighting, whether it's you're fighting for good or you're fighting for evil, whatever you want to call it, you're still fighting. Fighting don't solve shit. Now, as an example, a negative thought, there's a balcony in front of me. If I go stand next to that balcony, there'll probably be an intrusive thought about jumping off of the balcony, right? But I'm not going to embody the idea of jumping off of the balcony, but I might entertain it mentally. I might see myself jump off the balcony and land on the ground and be like, nah, that's probably not going to happen. I'll probably end up killing myself, but I don't actually want to die. So now I've entertained the thought. I didn't have to fight the thought of jumping off of the balcony or anything like that. I saw it, I integrated it. I see it as it probably is not my thought, 'cause I know it's not, because I don't want to die, and it is the thought of somebody in the collective. And I think that all the thoughts in this universe are not our own, but we're able to channel those things and bring them into our being. But if we only think that we're supposed to have solely positive thoughts, like that's it, that's all that's supposed to be going on, then the moment we're confronted with negativity, we're going to think that we have to fight that negativity, and then that's how war begins in the first place, versus
Mhm.
embracing it, showing it love, and then allowing it to exist where it exists, and then we just exist where we already are existing currently.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Polarity,
Polarity.
duality. Like we can't exist. You know what I'm saying? We can't exist without the opposite. The light can't exist without the dark. The good can't exist without the bad. They create the contrast, so you even know what it is. If we never felt pain, how would you even know what happiness is?
Precisely.
And the other day, what did I say the other day? I said that the same thing in us. I don't know. Maybe this was me and you talking, where I was talking about just how when you become a mother, like the love, the capacity to feel emotion grows so big. And it's like the same thing in us that allows us to love is the same thing in us that allows us to hate. And if
Mm-hmm.
you took away that thing, we wouldn't be able to do none of it. We wouldn't be able to love. We wouldn't be able to hate,
Facts.
So
Facts.
it's
Facts. Yeah.
like you gotta appreciate both,
Got
or
to.
else we wouldn't be able to have this experience. And I mean, that's what love is. Love is allowing for things to happen that we may not want to happen, because that allows us to experience the things that make us happy, love, joy. Like I feel like God loves us so much and say, hey, you want to experience all of these things, I'm gonna let you do that, but this is what it's gonna come with too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
just accepting both of them, or else
Exactly.
we wouldn't be here.
Exactly. You can't know joy without sadness. That's what makes the flavor of joy so sweet, because you've known the bitterness of sadness,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And when you really think about it, if I'm being real, sadness can be sweet too, if you observe it as it is, you know, its
Mm-hmm.
state of being. When I told you once, it was a dark day and it was gray outside and the clouds are gray and all of that. And I just embraced the darkness that day. I was like, you know what?
Yes.
It's a sweet day. Like, I'm cool with all of it. And
Yeah.
it's just like the rain. Like, we'll some days we're like, damn, it's got the rain, it's gonna mess up my day. But if you look at it as it is, the rain's beautiful,
The
the
rain is
lightning is
beautiful
beautiful,
too.
the volcano's beautiful, the earthquake is beautiful, the hurricane is beautiful. We just seeing it negatively because we're like it's messing up our house, this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
But the animals in nature don't see it like that. They know the hurricane coming, and Mother Earth's like, hey, animals, I'm about to clean up this area. I got to restructure some energy. Y'all go to the other room real quick. The
Yeah.
animals like, bet, we're gonna go to the other room. Cool, no worries. You know what I'm saying? And us, it's the end of the world. But no, it's not. There've been hurricanes here for thousands upon thousands of years, and the
Hmm.
world's still spinning. So clearly, something good about those hurricanes. Something good about all
Absolutely.
that. Nature doesn't know good and evil. Nature only knows the forces that exist, which is positive, um, polarity and negative polarity, and it makes space for both of them.
Yes. There is no good and bad, only polarity, only
Whew.
life. It's
Yeah,
just it's a spectrum.
it's a
It's a
spectrum.
spectrum, just like colors. You know what I'm saying? Red could be on one end and purple is on the other end.
Exactly.
Or is purple good and red bad? No, it's
Oh,
just on this. It's a spectrum. It's a
exactly.
spectrum, and that you know what? I always had like this. I was always intrigued by like people who are emo
Hmm.
and goth,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah,
one.
that darkness,
I
right?
just did like a deep dive on them on the internet. I'm like, I want to know. Because I
Yeah.
was listening to the music. It was like some music like, no, no, no. I'm like, I'm like, what
Yeah, they
y'all
be
be
going
thinking?
crazy.
So I went on a deep dive and I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are fucking beautiful. I love them.
Yeah.
That's basically what I ended up thinking because like they appreciate the darkness, everything that we reject they appreciate it. They see it as beautiful. That's what brings them life, you know? And I think that's so beautiful to honor the dead, to honor death, to honor the darkness. You know what I'm saying? All of those things, like, because they deserve appreciation too.
Whew.
Absolutely.
It
They
all
deserve
deserves appreciation.
appreciation. And I remember I was having a conversation with somebody. This was a very long time ago.
Hmm.
And we was talking about monsters, right?
Hmm.
Monsters and monsters that they always come up in the darkness to scare us. And then we realize like the monsters are kind of like the gatekeepers. They
Mm.
protect something because if the monsters are scaring us, what are they scaring us away from?
Hmm.
And it's like once you get through the monsters and you get past them because you no longer have fear, you know what's on the other side of that?
What's that?
Heaven,
Mm.
nirvana,
Mm.
God.
Mm.
They are like the gatekeepers and the protectives, the protectors, the guardians of God, because it's like God is love,
Hmm.
but you cannot experience love if you're also feeling fear at the same time. So you got to let go of that fear to fully receive that love and to experience God, nirvana, all of that. That's all they do. They just keep us out if we want to be kept out. And in a lot of
Yep.
scary movies, one thing that I noticed too is that they won't kill you or hurt you if you're not scared. Or there
A
was this
fact.
one movie, Anaconda, like the big snake.
Hmm.
It won't chew you up and kill you if you're not scared of it. It only chews up and kill the people that's scared.
A fact. You hit on something. Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like going back to the cobra, like the reason that these Indian people who are snake charmers are able to have this relationship with snakes, and why the ancient yogis as well were also able to have this relationship with venomous snakes, even tigers, etc., that did not harm them, is because they were emitting an energy of not being afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to how like a tiger or a snake doesn't bite a tree. There's an intelligence there where it knows that the tree
Mm-hmm.
is not a threat, first of all, you know what I'm saying? And it's not something that it needs to attack. But for people who are not afraid, because the snake doesn't perceive fear as we do, it just experiences it as an anxious energy, and it now sees it as a threat to itself. So
Mm-hmm.
now it knows it needs to defend itself because you're putting out an energy where you're projecting onto it that is something bad about it when it's
Mm-hmm.
just existing.
That's why they.
So, and so
Yes.
when the divinity steps in, a being who sees it as it is, as beautiful, no issue, then it doesn't have that energy and it sees you just like the tree sees you, because the tree isn't bothered by the snake. Snake crawls up the tree.
Mm-hmm.
The tree isn't bothered by the tiger, none of that. And the tiger senses that, and the snake senses that. So these yogis who are very evolved, they're able to be around all animals. Why? Because they're channeling the energy of God, which is no fear. And as you said, where there's fear, there cannot be love.
Mm, yes. That's why they say like dogs and stuff can smell your fear.
Yep,
You know what I'm
certainly can.
saying? They will project that back onto
Hmm.
you. They will project that back onto you.
A
Mm.
fact, a fact. Yeah, man. No, it's really dope when you think about it because this whole spiritual thing, like people think that it's truly a mystical practice. And in one aspect it is because we live our lives so differently from it. So it
Yeah.
seems mystical, you know? But on another hand, oh, somebody say, why do you think animals don't attack? Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, they do sometimes, but in general, because children are in that loving, playful state. I mean, you've seen kids pick up snakes, etc., and the snake don't do nothing because the kid ain't got no beef in it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Um, dang, what was I just saying before I tapped into that? Well, ADHD. So it is. It's all good. What
I
else did
can't
somebody
see
say?
none of the new comments. I don't know
You
why.
can't. I'm seeing one do they do it emit fear because they don't know it or experience it. Okay, I think they're still talking about the children, the babies. But yeah, but it really is important to just to highlight basically what we were just talking about still like releasing that fear. But because like a good point that you made is the monsters are definitely there as uh as a symbol
Yeah.
of if you really love God, we too are God's creations. Do you love us? Do you love us? Do you love the
Mhm.
darkness? And until you can hug me with the big scary fangs, then you cannot enter
Yes.
the kingdom. Sorry.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful, man. It just, whew, I don't want to get too deep on here. But no, we was talking about like the situation usually between an empath and a narcissist. Like the empath is still able to love the narcissist, even though the narcissist may be doing X, Y, Z. And a part of that is us channeling as empaths, channeling that maternal energy where it's like everything needs love.
For
You
sure.
know, something, even something like you or someone like you.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
we
Fact.
we don't see it that way though. We don't. We see it, as this person doesn't deserve love. They don't deserve care. None of that because they're doing this. And like we talked about before, um, the wounded child, there's a child in them that still needs love. And it's like when we abandon the whole person, we abandon the child that's also within them that needs that love too.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
to be able to still see that, to see somebody is acting out or misbehaving or being bad, to still offer them that love, oh my gosh, that is so powerful and so beautiful.
It
Like the
really is like
story, like the what is the thing that you always say from the Bible about Jesus and how Jesus say they don't know what they do,
oh yeah, yeah,
something like that.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
come
yeah,
on,
yeah,
take us to
yeah,
church. Yes,
yeah,
come
yeah.
on.
Nah, you talking about some forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do.
Yes.
And it's something, but it's so real though. Like even going back to the monster piece, it's like that monster didn't just touch down as a big scary monster. No, it was a little monster baby at one time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was trying to figure out monster life and what to eat and how not to be afraid of other things in its environment. It experiences fear too. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
being that doesn't experience the fear. And all fear is again is this idea of this illusion that we've been abandoned. And if we can look at the big scary monster and as you just said, see the child within it, see the little monster within it, see the innocence within it, because everything in this creation is born innocent. And it's very unfortunate that in our lives we will see people and we will project uh sin onto them. Because to me, that's what the sin is. It's that you have done something wrong, and because of it, you must pay, and you need to pay in order for us to achieve justice, and that's the only thing that can make that right wrong. And until then you will be treated less than. We will take love from you and we will treat you negatively. That's a sad state of being to be in. And the
Mm-hmm.
only way that and the reason that we function in that manner is because if you have that in you to be like that to anybody in the creation, then the reality of that is that you're doing that to yourself.
Mm.
You do that to yourself.
I
You,
I just think about like how there is kind of like this division going on between a lot of men and women on the internet. Where women, ooh, they don't want to hear this one. But women nowadays, at least from what I see from social media, they be treating men like crap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We talk about how men dehumanize us. You know what I'm saying? And reduce us to objects. And because that's how we feel, we now treat them the same. You know what I'm saying? Unless he's able to do this or that, he's nothing. He's worthless. He's garbage. He is not worthy of any love, of any respect. Literally. And what I hear when I see women say that is I see a wounded little girl inside of them that says,
Absolutely.
"You hurt me, and I'm gonna hurt you too."
Mhm. Yeah, just
You
like
know,
that, with that face and everything, that attitude.
literally. And I understand, of course, having standards and having your yeah, having standards and having criteria for who you want to be with. But I think it goes left when we reduce somebody, you know what I'm saying, to an object, to being less than a human being. And for women it's because carrying like we're carrying so much pain. You know what I'm saying? It's really not that black and white and not that simple. Like we're just carrying, the pain from our ancestors of women who been abused, women who were taken advantage of, who could not stand in their power, who could not advocate for themselves, who could not demand what they need. You know what I'm saying? And we're kind of basically clearing that karma, getting even. But even from that standpoint, we're still operating from the wounded place. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And that only does so much healing. Where we really heal is when we can look at that, you know what I'm saying? And we can be like, okay, this is what happened in the past, and this is now. And this, even though I was hurt by this person, I may have been betrayed, space have not been held for me during these times. Let me not move from that because that's no longer my reality anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone is not operating from that same space. So when I look at it from this person deserves love, care, and respect too, it's like we heal not only ourselves now, but we also heal the timelines, before. Because if we're being transparent, the men that hurt us, they were hurt too. There was
exactly.
something that happened to them to make them treat us that way. And when we don't recognize that, we are continuing and perpetuating the same cycle of trauma and misunderstanding and neglect for our inner children, you know?
Mm, absolutely.
Mm,
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head.
yeah.
We all very much damaged internally. We've
Mm,
been through a lot. We don't, and we're not willing often to see that other side of it, to see like, yeah, hurt people. So that
I
is
was
the
thinking that.
prerequisite. Yeah, it's the prerequisite. If I've been hurt, betrayed, or somebody has come at me intentionally,
Mm,
with any type of negativity, then, this is just a reflection of what they have going on inside. And now I can say, as Christ said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, and
mm,
but most of us just aren't in the space within our own selves. Because when we do something,
mm,
most of us in our own mind, when we make a mistake, we're like, man, why did you do that? You so stupid. Like you keep
mm,
messing up, da 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 da, and you hold yourself in the fire and you think that you should judge yourself.
mm,
You don't think that everything you do is above judgment. No, you feel like there's certain things that you should do and there's other things that you shouldn't do. And because you believe that about yourself, you also believe that about the world. And what that really means is you don't allow yourself to live freely. You don't allow yourself to be, experience, and everything that you are and every desire that you have to entertain it for yourself. No, you
mm,
feel as though that there's certain things that you can't entertain, there's certain things that you can't have, and there's certain things that cannot be your reality. So therefore, you also put that into the world and believe the same for others.
yes.
And there's a bondage that I don't wish on anybody, but I used to live in that bondage as well.
Man, it's just this world consists of just a whole bunch of people that's been hurt, that's trying to heal, but through hurting other people, whether
Indeed.
they know it or not. And that just reminds me of the other day where I saw this post about Gaza, and
Mm-hmm.
it was, the kids, they were crying, they were wounded, and it broke me down to tears, and you were the first person that I reached out to because I was like, yo, I need to hear something.
Yeah.
You know, because seeing those kids as a mom, just seeing those kids in pain, I'm like, why do the kids gotta be involved? Why do the kids gotta suffer? And long story short, what I ended up realizing through our conversation is that, like, a part of what's happening in Gaza, like, those images, they need to be shared. Their voices need to be heard. We need to feel fully. We need to feel what they're feeling. And through me feeling that, through me crying, man, my heart opened so much that night. And from that point on forward, you know what I'm saying? Like, I literally forgave, my child's father that abandoned me during my pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
That I've been holding on to resentment for years and years because my heart was so open, because I started to hold space for his inner child, because everything just started to make sense. And I just realized the further we are away from love, the more things don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
The further we get away from God. You know what I'm saying? And it
Mm-hmm.
holds us back. And then now you have to walk around this world with this armor on you. This armor that, even though it may protect you, it prevents you from receiving love. How can you get the love if you got the armor up?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You guard it. And it
Cooking.
closes us off from connecting with each other and holding space for each other. And that's what I feel like people like me and you are here to do, to help people open their hearts up, open their minds up, like, see each other as brother and sister, because that's all that we really are.
And
And we forgot that because we keep reducing each other to, oh, you're my mom, you're my sister, you're my boyfriend, you're my girlfriend, you're my daughter. But everybody's still your brother and your sister that's worthy and deserving of unconditional love.
mm.
But the expectations that we have, because you are this role, this is what I expect from you. And if you do not do this or give me that, you are no longer worthy and deserving of my love anymore.
What's her at? Her at is, hold on, I'm gonna post it because she cooking, and I'm gonna make sure y'all get that. Indigo Ayira. How it's
Ayira.
Ayria?
I can put it. Can I put it in
Yeah,
here?
you can put it too. You
At
know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Indigo.
Yeah, yeah. We pin it up there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, you ain't tell no lies, shorty. It's just
Mhm.
we have been on this path of being reductionist, just reducing everybody to whatever relationship we have in our mind. And one, I wanna congratulate you on, you know, forgiving
Yeah.
your father, your child. I know it's something that you've been struggling with at some times, and for you to come on this platform and share that with strangers, also really shows the growth. You know what I'm saying? To where it's a free thing now, to where it's no longer holding on to you so tightly that you're keeping it in. Now you letting us all see it,
Yeah.
and I'm proud of you for that, and I respect you for that.
Mhm.
Especially from the thoughts you had from before, for you to now say I'm holding a space for his inner child, and he'll probably end up seeing this, you know what I'm saying, at some way capacity, and you ain't do it for that.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of this, you know what I'm saying? And I just respect it, like you doing that also is going to make way for other people, other women watching this and other men watching this
Mhm.
to understand that you and your child's mother may be going through it, my brother that's watching this, or, my sister that's watching this, you and your child's father may be going through this, but how y'all are today doesn't mean you'll be like that tomorrow or years
Mhm.
from now. And before y'all got here, y'all made agreements that you would love each other in this way. Although here it looks like hate, over there, you did this for each other,
Mhm.
so always let's return back to love, as you said. You said something very poignant, that the further away we move from love, the further the more things stop making sense.
Mhm.
And the more we come back to love, like how you had that heart opening experience
Mhm.
the other day that you hit me on, it brought you to a level of forgiveness
Yes.
that my words couldn't do.
Mhm.
Because we had conversations about it, but you found it in
Yeah.
the moment through the innocence of children in Gaza.
Yes.
Powerful shit.
Yes. Absolutely. It's like when we see people that we feel like are bad people, narcissists, psychopaths, anything along those lines, even pedophiles, fuck.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we look at them and we say this is who they are. But a lot of times what we see is a program that is running on them. What we usually see is a shell that was created to protect them, that has
Absolutely.
now become something that is destructive,
Hmm. Exactly.
something that we consider to be evil. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And it's like we have to look past that programming, past that shell that they put up, and see where it started from. How did they get to this level? How did they become this person? How did they become so hateful, so, non-compassionate, mean, whatever? What happened to them for them to get this way? Because when we look at children, no child is born a racist, you know what I'm saying, a psychopath, evil. All children
Agreed.
are born pure. So it took a certain level of conditioning, trauma, and a certain type of experience to make them become who they are. Now, meanwhile, that's not an excuse for them to be like that.
Mm.
It's a way that we can understand them and open up our hearts to them. And that does
Agreed.
not mean you got to be buddy buddy, friend with them. That means that you can just offer them a level of, you can just send love and healing to them. You can have a deeper understanding of them. You can let them know that you see them. You can talk to the spirit. You can talk to the child in them, not just the program, not just the beast that they created to protect
You
themselves.
did.
And I feel like through having that level of awareness, that understanding, really seeing them, I feel like that can help heal them in
Absolutely.
such a deep way. It can help heal them in a way that they have never been able to get healing. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody just keeps rejecting them, pushing them away, you know?
Fact.
Yeah.
Fact.
Mm.
Yeah, my sister. Well, we've come to that time. We did an hour. I want to say thank you, for us doing this live. Now for real, we cooked. But you was cooking though. You was the chef. You had on the chef hat. You was going crazy. And I
Thank you.
respect that. It's a beautiful thing to see you share your wisdom with the world. And I encourage everybody that's in here right now, to follow Indigo. She a wise soul and has many different insights, and she's starting on her own journey. Yeah, she's been on for some time, but really locking in now to expand uh her reach in this world with her wisdom, and allow y'all to see her exist in a natural way. So for sure, I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk every day, but when we do talk, we cook every time. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Well, I
Uh,
appreciate you. Thank you for holding the space.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Thank you
I'm
for
gonna do
being
that every
there.
time. Yeah, yeah. No, every time,
Yes.
man. And we're gonna go live again, man. I think this was very positive. I think this was good.
Absolutely.
I think this was great.
These
Yeah,
conversations, they happen all the time. So I'm just happy. It's just a nice experience, other people witnessing this as well. It's a beautiful
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Look, we said it. We look just so y'all know. We was on the phone one day, and we was like, man, we need to go live. We just need to go live.
We should have been going live because like our conversations, they just be,
Yeah, they
I'm
be they be higher
like, I was
dimensional.
crying on the phone, like just
Yeah.
sobbing.
Look, they said y'all finna save this live. For sure I'm finna save the live. Don't worry, the live finna get cut up into all type of
Yeah,
things. You know
send
what
it
I'm
to
saying?
me,
Oh
okay?
yeah, you know I
Yes.
got you. You know I got you. I'm definitely gonna do that. Yeah. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all follow Indigo, man.
Yes.
And stay tuned. She got plenty of amazing content, birthing content, content that'll help you evolve as a woman, content that help you evolve just as a soul in general. Her just showing her true self and her true wisdom, and I'm grateful to know her. So,
Yes.
you know,
Thank you.
absolutely.
All
So
right.
yeah, that's it, y'all. If you're just getting on here, the live will be on the page for right now. Then I'm gonna end up chopping it up and doing some other things for it. So the live will be saved. Y'all make sure y'all check that out. Indigo, much love, sweetie. We will
All
talk
right.
soon.
Bye.
All right.
See ya.
Peace.